Listen closely, because today I want to talk about relationships, the kind of relationships that we choose. That's friendships, lovers, boyfriends, girlfriends. And the videos I make are about being transgender, and how being transgender affects these different types of things. Life. And this video is about how they affect relationships. You come from a place when you're transgender where there is a certain amount of shame. And the shame, in the worst, it's because you know you can never be yourself. You will never be recognized as the man or woman that you are. In places where transition is not an option, where talking about it is not an option, where the vocabulary doesn't exist. So when people can't imagine it, that's the most extreme shame that it creates inside a transgender person. In the United States, there is a treatment, there's hormone therapy, but at the same time, there's also just a fact of life that there's a lot of misunderstanding about this, a lot of lack of education, and there are people in the United States who are upset or angered or disgusted or disturbed, or do not believe in transgender, the fact that it is a condition that some people have, or you know that you're not safe in all places. As someone who's transgender, no matter the best situation, you're at a pride march in San Francisco, you are not safe being who you are. So with that awareness, you it affects how you relate to other people. You relate to other people with this underlying idea that you don't know who might not like you, or who might not like what you have to say or how you feel. And that is a heavy weight to carry, and that we just sort of naturally carry, even if we do all kinds of work to feel accepting of who we are. So with that in mind, the people that we choose to be friends and to love and to be connected with as partners and lovers, those are the people who we want to be our most honest, true selves. We want to build this love. Look, it's a big dog nose. Big dog nose. Okay, can you go somewhere else, doggy? In our love relationships, we want to be our truest, most honest, authentic selves. And there's this trust that we can share our weaknesses, our fears, our worries, our difficult things, and that we will be accepted for those things. And by being accepted, by letting those things come to surface, as they do naturally in a healthy relationship, or sadly even in an unhealthy relationship, anyway, by letting these things come to surface, by receiving acceptance and understanding from the person that you've chosen to love, a great healing occurs. And through this healing, trust and growth happens and builds, and these amazing things happen. Okay, so anyway, so as a transgender person, you work through this internal shame as you engage in these different relationships that you have. And best case scenario, it makes you stronger, it makes you more comfortable about yourself. Those first few times you say something difficult, it's the most difficult. The next, as you say it over and over again, oh, I'm transgender, it becomes less difficult because more and more people are accepting of it. And it all happened like a snowball by those first few people who accepted what you had to say. Oftentimes, and tell me if you've experienced this, please write about it in the comment section. But a lot of times what holds people back is love. What holds people back from transition is a boyfriend or girlfriend, or a husband or wife, or having a family with children. You are in this relationship where you feel like, you've chosen it, you've built it, you've worked, put so much work and love and energy and time into something that makes you feel really good, the relationship, and you have this thing where you're like, and I'm transgender, and I'm going to have to let people know, and it's kind of a big deal. And so people have actually held themselves back from transition because they've weighed the sort of the pain factor. Well, if I transition, my family will fall apart, everyone who loves me will hate me, and so I can't, versus or I could be my true self. And it sounds so selfish to be your true self, which is sad because really, you should have those things together. You should be your authentic self and be loved and have a family, right? It shouldn't be one or the other. And if you're in a situation where it is one or the other, then that is really sad, and that should not be so. And it happens that people get into these situations where they have to make this choice, like I lose everything, or I am get to be myself. People get into this situation because of this underlying cultural message that you cannot be transgender. So you can be everything you want. You can be, married. You can be happy. You can be part of a family and do sports, but you cannot be transgender. And if you are transgender, you should figure that out when you're 10, so that everybody knows, and then transition as fast as you can, blend in as much as you can, because it's just a burden if you have to change things later in life. Okay, so that's sort of the message and the idea. That's changing. It is not the end of the world if you have to change something during the course of your lifetime, because life is about changes. It's about things that happen beyond our control. And it's this curse because of all the different things that can affect your life. Being transgender feels like you have a choice, like you have control, right? There's this so you take the example of racism. Someone with dark skin has the same awareness that there are parts of the culture where they are not safe, where they are targeted, where they cannot go without watching their back and being in danger. They know that, and they cannot hide who they are, and people will see their true skin as they walk. But with being transgender, people will only see this this painful part that we have to protect if we let it be seen. So we have this choice: do we let it be seen at the risk of danger and rejection, or do we keep it inside, where it causes great pain and makes us feel like we're not being honest? It's a weird choice, a weird conundrum, and we face this in every relationship. And rejection itself, just so everybody knows, if there's a certain topic on which you get rejected upon, the more you face rejection, the more you let yourself go through that pain, because it is a huge pain. The more you feel it and let it soak in, the stronger you become, and the better prepared you are for future rejection. Sadly, rejection is one of the scariest things, and it is something that we all will face during our life. And it is heartbreaking to think about the rejection that happens in love, in friendships, in those chosen connections that we make, just because we are trans. The thing that I'd like to open up for discussion in the comments is, do you find yourself in a relationship where it's pre-transition and your partner is a little bit uncomfortable about you maybe becoming someone else? Dun, dun, dun. Or are you on the other side where you're a couple years in transition and maybe you did lose some love through the choice of transitioning, but you survived? Can you please write about that in the comments? I want to share these stories because I think they're empowering. And I myself was in a relationship where the person that I was with was terrified about me transitioning. I bring up this topic because it's very common. When you're dating someone or you're married, your identities intertwine. You really do reflect so much of who you are to each other and to society. And with all the different connections you have, the breakup is like pulling you apart in these painful ways that are the deeper the love, the stronger the connection and identity that you created together, the more painful the pulling apart. Anyway, I would like to hear some success stories, some good stories of love, some difficult stories of love, where you're at. Please share. I appreciate it. And also, why it is as it is and how it could be better.